before, welcome for the first time. My name is Michael Lemberg. I'm the Director of Product Management in Falcon.io, and I've been asked by my good friend Berg to come and just bid you welcome and give a small pep talk here in the beginning, talk a little about a topic close to my heart. Berg, whom I'm sure some of you have met before, he asked me specifically not to pitch our product or be any kind of selling. So I asked him, then what do you want me to talk about? And he said, well, basically anything that you think might be relevant. So I decided that a topic I think is really interesting to talk about these days is virtual reality and the next generation of customer experience. So I'm gonna spend just a little time, share some thoughts on that, and then the rest of the evening is free play for you guys. Slide introduction for those of you who don't know much about Falcon already. We are a team of about 230 people. We're based in 4 different locations, and we are more than 35 nationalities gathered on these 4 different locations. That's actually a really cool thing for us who work here. It means that the perspective on what we do and the atmosphere when you come to work in the morning is completely different. There's a much higher level of ambition when people have this international perspective, and it's just a very inspiring environment to be part of. So if any of you guys were wondering if that would be an environment that would be inspiring, I would definitely recommend you to try it out at some point during your work career. We are funded by some of Europe's prime venture capitalists, and we are about 5, almost 6 years old. These are our locations: Copenhagen, Berlin, Budapest, and New York City. Fortunately, I haven't had the chance yet to visit the other offices, but hoping that's going to happen during this year. So what I'm going to talk about is the future of customer experience and virtual reality. I want to start a slightly different place. I want to start by just taking you back to the time before internet, before Windows 95, before cell phones. I remember when I was a kid, I was kind of short in height, but I had very big feet. So every now and then my mother would have to take me out for shoe shopping. And we came down to the local store that sold Echo shoes. That was my favorite brand. And the moment I entered the door, the saleswoman, she already knew who me and my mom was. And she knew that my feet were quite large for my age. So without saying anything, she took us to the Echo section, and she showed us the newest models of Echo and the size that she thought I was probably wearing. That kind of personalized experience, that was just perfect. I mean, that's what we're all craving for. Since then, obviously, we got internet, we got computers, we got cell phones. We started doing business on our phones, and later on we started doing business on the internet. And that's great for a lot of reasons. It makes it easier, it makes it more convenient. You can choose when and where you want to go shopping. But it also takes something away. It takes away the feeling of being in personal contact with another person. It takes away the feeling of getting treatment that's tailored to your needs. And I think that what VR is going to do, what virtual reality is going to do for the shopping experience is that it's going to bring back some of those personal experiences. It's going to bring back some of that personalization. To me, virtual reality is a bit more wide definition than just a pair of goggles that you wear. To me, virtual reality is about experiences. It doesn't have to be completely alternative reality, but at least it is a reality that contains elements that are taken from somewhere else, and it's a very portable experience. So I think that everything that merges elements from other places, from other points in time, from other imaginations, is something that we can. Everything that merges those kind of things into our current reality is what I would consider virtual reality. So for me, if we look at the current set of tools available, virtual reality is also stuff like 360 photos and 360 videos that we see a lot on social media right now. It's stuff like augmented reality, and it's tactile experiences, different sorts of gadgets and devices that actually helps you to feel things that you see in your in your goggles or that you're thinking of, and it gives you actual tactile feedback. And it's extremely portable, because the moment that we start seeing the virtual reality headsets reduced in form factor, so they almost end up resembling what I'm wearing here today, then basically it's even more mobile than a mobile phone. If you want to use your mobile phone, you actually still have to pick it out of your pocket, and if you want to use it while walking, you have to be in a place where you're not suddenly getting run over by cars and stuff like that. So even a mobile phone still imposes some sort of limitations to where and when you can use it. While the moment that we have VR, which can be augmented onto a set of glasses or to a set of lenses, or if we're being very futuristic, maybe just directly imposed onto your brain, then you can use that everywhere. So it's hyper-mobile. I think that virtual reality is going to disrupt most of the industries that we know today. I think especially hardware industries are in for a rough travel. We have this huge TV setup behind us, and I don't know how much it costed, but I'm guessing more than a few $1,000s. At some point, when we're all wearing these glasses that look like mine or lenses, this is just going to be a $1 app in the App Store. What does that do to a company like Samsung, Philips, Sony? What's their future revenue model when people stop buying hardware? I'm wearing an Apple Watch on my wrist right now, and that's nice because I get notifications, I get tactile feedback, stuff like that. But the moment that these VR headsets get smart enough that they can talk to each other as well, then my VR headset will be able to tell your VR headset what I'm wearing. So if I decide to buy the 99-cent Apple Watch app on my headset, then you'll be able to see that I'm wearing it too. What does that do for fashion? I'm not saying that we're all going to go walking around naked at some point in the future, because our clothes are in VR. I think we'll still be freezing in the winter, and we have to make sure that elder people who haven't jumped the trick yet don't get too shocked walking around. But I think a lot of the things that we take for granted as stuff that we buy because they're physical objects, that's not going to stay the same in the future. So you guys sitting out here thinking about your businesses, you should start thinking about what will VR do to my business. Is it going to make it obsolete, which will happen in many places, in many cases, or will it present new opportunities? And how can I create new immersive experiences that are really, really interesting for my consumers? what will make them interested in interacting with my brand on virtual reality. Let's take a look at what those immersive experiences could look like. I'm starting off with an actual real-life case that has been tried out and exists. You can download it if you have a VR headset. IKEA, they created a virtual kitchen where you can walk around and see how different materials looks for you, compare that to how your kitchen of your dreams look. You can take out the drawers, you can see the kitchen from the height of your children, and you can, in that sense, get a different experience of what is it like, what would it be like if we change the color of the closets or the mechanism of the drawers or the size of the table, etc. They created this at this point, obviously, most of all, just to test out the possibilities, get feedback, and try to explore the implications of this technology in the future. Let's take a few more steps into the future and think of some concepts that hasn't been made yet, but would be very interesting at some point down the line when the technology is right. If you are a fashion retailer, then there's a lot of online shopping going on, obviously. People buy more and more clothes online, but that does have two major setbacks. You can't try on the clothes before you buy it, and it's not a very social experience. I have a wife, and I am, whenever she wants to buy new clothes, I'm basically a prisoner of hers. I'm dragged all around the shopping mall, and I have to look at every single dress she wears, although I have already figured out that whatever she wears, I should just tell her it looks good on you. So I'm not sure I'm that much help, but for her, it's part of the shopping experience that you put on clothes and you ask someone else for an opinion. That's really hard to do online when you're browsing a website. But if you're using VR, you put on the dress in virtual reality, you look at your VR mirror, or if it's augmented reality, you actually go to the mirror in your home and you look at it and you see yourself wearing that dress. And if you want to ask a friend for his or her opinion, you either take a picture of it or you invite your friend to join you in VR, and you can watch how that dress fits you together. So that makes the shopping experience a more real experience than what we're used to with the web browsing today. Supermarkets have basically looked pretty much the same for almost a century, I guess. And obviously things have happened and technology has been introduced, but the basic concept has been the same of a supermarket layout. We have all the most necessary things down at the bottom of the supermarket to make sure that every single person, even if he just needs milk and butter and a tray of eggs, he has to go through every single aisle and get inspired meanwhile. And obviously the candy is up close to the register, so when you're waiting to pay, your children can beg you for buying a bag of Haribo before you come to the register. That doesn't really work online, because when I go to shop at Nemly, I just search for the product that I want, and I save a lot of time that way, because I don't have to walk through the canned fruit section to get to the milk. So I'm saving time, and the moment that we start seeing supermarkets pop up in VR, people will be able to jump in time and space as well there. We're used to the physical constraints of the supermarket. It doesn't just take effort for me to walk from A to B, but it actually takes time as well. When I'm shopping in a virtual reality supermarket, getting from A to B or from one supermarket to another, if the first one bothers me, takes no time at all. So supermarkets has to rethink what virtual reality means for their layouts. And I think that they have to realize that just as I'm expecting when I go to a website that the most relevant products for me are presented on the front page, when I go to a supermarket, I want that supermarket tailored to my personal needs. You can do that with VR because you can basically change whatever people see. You cannot do that with the physical constraints of an analog supermarket. We have the Euro Cup going on right now. And how many of you would not be willing to pay some sort of amount to watch the Euro Cup final from the coach bench with your friends? Imagine the moment, we have 360 videos already. Imagine the moment that 360 videos gets combined with live videos. It's just a matter of putting that 360 video camera orb down right next to the coach bench. You have an unlimited amount of tickets that you can sell for that seat. People can sit and watch that from the coach bench with their friends, drinking a cold beer from the fridge that they didn't pay an excruciating amount of euros for. I think that is going to change a lot in terms of how we experience entertainment. So we're talking a 360 customer experience here. And that leads me to think a little about our definition of customer experience management today. Customer experience management is, I guess, a relatively new term in marketing lingo. It refers to all those systems that somehow manages data analysis of customer behavior and tries to tailor specific experiences to optimize the customer journeys. What that actually translates to in reality, in 99% of the cases, is a system that can analyze people's behavior on a website and then change a bit on how that website appears depending on who comes in there. So maybe it can change the banners that are presented on the front page, or which products are featured, or which order they're presented in. And that's cool. That definitely optimizes. It does increase ROI. But as we start to have more and more experiences with our brands before we enter the website, on social media, in the future as well, on virtual reality, it becomes less relevant to put all your optimization cash into a website. I think already now we're seeing that people actually don't come to your website until they've decided what they want to buy. And they don't go to your front page first. First, they probably come to your website through a deep link that they got from a friend or found through a price searching engine or something like that. So the next generation customer experience management is not about just replacing banners or reordering products on a website. It's about finding out where people have experiences with you, gather data on those experiences, and then customize them. So the conversation is the next generation experience. We launched a product recently called Audience, and if you follow any of our social channels or any of our employees, you've probably seen a video for it. Otherwise, I'll personally shove it down your throat after this presentation. What this product does is basically it creates a single view of your customers that is sourced from all the different channels that you're monitoring, whether it's your own social media platforms or your CRM database or keywords that you're listening to on external sources. The first time I tried this, when we were playing around with the alpha version internally, I figured I wanted to set up a listening query and see what I got and which kind of people came into the system. So I just set up a query for Starbucks and limited that to a search in Denmark. And I started getting people into my audience. And what was really interesting about this was that most of these people were actually people who had never prior engaged with Starbucks on any of their social channels. None of them had ever mentioned Starbucks with a mention sign on Twitter. None of them had actually ever written a message to them or posted on their wall on Facebook. But it was people who maybe did a Foursquare check-in that cross-posted to Twitter and was found by our platform through that interaction. And what I saw was I found this guy, and I could see that every single morning he posted around 7:50 a.m. that he was going to Starbucks and getting a vanilla latte on his way to work. Now imagine this guy, at some point maybe the vanilla latte that he gets is cold. And he doesn't realize this until he left the store. So his immediate reaction is he goes to Facebook or goes to Twitter and he writes a complaint about it on Starbucks Facebook page or Twitter profile. And then if you were the Starbucks community manager, you saw this guy and all you knew was he's posting a complaint about a cold vanilla latte right now, your first reaction might be, he's a bit of a troll, or maybe just doesn't matter that much, cold lattes happen and those sort of things. But when you have the whole history of what he actually does, and you know he goes to Starbucks every single morning for vanilla latte, you know he's a regular customer, and that you want to give him a different treatment in your response. So instead of just responding and saying, we're sorry about that, or not responding at all, you can actually tell him that, and we're really sorry, and let's deliver a new vanilla latte to you, or I talk to your local barista and he will give you a double tomorrow, whatever he wants. You can give him a different experience. And I think that this sort of approach to customer experience, realizing that it's not about replacing banners, but it's about customizing conversations, that's really, really key to nailing what you need to do in order to be prepared for the introduction of virtual reality into business. So this is my claim that, this is my claim that virtual reality is going to disrupt everything that we think we know about customer experience, and is either going to impose a magnitude of ordeals or trouble to your business, or it's going to present OMFG scale of opportunities for your business. The first thing you need to do is realize which one of those is going to happen to me. And then you need to develop your customer experience strategy, because that's what's going to save you, or that's what's going to help you take advantage of virtual reality. So I will leave you with these words. This is going to happen, and what I've just shown you and the thoughts that I've shared with you is not going to happen in 20 to 50 years. It's going to happen within the next 5 to 10 years. And probably most of your businesses out here need more than 5 years to do a complete turnaround. So now is the time to start thinking about it. And now is the time to be prepared. And the 3 steps that I would advise that you take is go pro on social. Make sure that you are there. Make sure that you have your interactions with people already, and that you are gathering data from those interactions. Define a strategy for next generation customer experience that's more ambitious than just replacing banners on a website. And then start playing with virtual reality. And this is the medicine that we're taking ourselves in Falcon.io as well. And we're doing that very, very literally. Obviously, we're working with social media. Obviously, we're working with customer experience. That's the products we're developing. But in order to also be prepared for the future, we actually set up this virtual reality room that every single employee can go down and play in whenever and just get a feeling of what is the future and what's coming towards us very, very soon. And use that to create new thoughts and get inspired and sit and just think about what will that mean for us and what cool things could we do when the technology is right. And obviously, as you saw by the invitation, and some of you even got to try it before this presentation as well, we've moved that VR room up to the room next door today for you guys to play around with if you feel like it. So that would be my advice to you, and thank you for paying attention to that for this short moment. What's going to happen next is any of you who wants to try out the VR room, please contact a Falcon.io. And if you don't know where the Falcon.ios are, just contact me, and I'll guide you in the right direction. There's more drinks and food, and I would advise as well, if this is your first time in Falcon, make sure at some point that you take the stairs all the way up to the 5th floor, and go up to the roof terrace, and just enjoy the view, take some pictures if you want to. It's really, really stunning, and it's not raining. Thanks for listening.